I go.
Hi, welcome back to the Guide to Being an Entrepreneur. Today we're going to talk about vision, validation, customer building, and company building. You want to start with the vision and make sure that you have the vision down and that you know what the vision actually is. You want to go from vision to validation a few times, which is called pivoting, but make sure that you go from vision to validation first, because you want to have a vision first and then validate that people want it and it will be successful. So have your vision, ask people about it, talk to people about it, put it on Craigslist is a great way to see if people actually want it. Put it up, see how many likes it gets, how many posts it gets, how many comments it gets. Craigslist can be a great way to validate in this instance. Startups that pivot once or twice raise 2.5 times more money and have 3.6 times better user growth and about 52% less likely to scale prematurely than startups that pivot more than 2 times or not at all. So pivoting is really important. Make sure that you pivot, and that statistic was from the Genome Startup Report for entrepreneurs. Once the vision is complete and that you know there is interest, try getting a customer. In the vision and validation stage, you want to keep going back and forth, but before you move on to customer building, you want to get at least one customer. You want to get that first customer, and it shouldn't be your mom or your grandmother, it should be a real customer. Make sure you get a customer. Once you have a customer base and you are selling, then you can work on customer building and getting a steady customer report and have people constantly buying and asking for your product. Once you have that, then you can go to company building. Then you can go to marketing and hiring different people. It's important not to do that before customer building though, or any of the other stages. Company building definitely comes last. You don't want to spend your resources on different things that you don't need yet. So marketing can wait, hiring other people can wait, different types of logos or something else that goes into the company can wait. Make sure you do this part first. Many entrepreneurs, they get very caught up, so they start with vision and then they go into company building. This is the best way to fail. You don't want to do this. Premature scalability is the #1 way that people fail. You want to pivot from vision to validation until you find something that is scalable, repeatable, and profitable. Scalable, you want to make sure that it can be scalable and it can move and get to different scalable lengths. So if it starts small, make sure that it can get bigger and bigger and be scalable. Make sure it's repeatable. Make sure it's not a one-time product that will only sell once or twice. Make sure it's repeatable and people will keep buying. Lastly, make sure it's profitable. Make sure that your revenue outweighs your costs and you can make a profit on it, and you can have a profitable company from it. You want to avoid big, sticky, and clumpy. This is really important. This basically describes a company or a product that you can't reallocate your resources in. Not every product or service is going to be successful, but you want to avoid big, sticky, clumpy, because just in case it is not successful, you want to be able to reallocate your resources to something else. An example of this would be something scientific, maybe. If you want to go into some scientific research, you're going to have to have resources to even start up. So you're going to have to invest in scientific technology and resources that is expensive, and you can't get away from those. You can't turn those into anything else. You can't use those for anything else. You're going to have to build a laboratory. You're going to have to put scientific resources in there, and that can't go anywhere else. So that's a big, sticky, clumpy mess that you want to avoid as an entrepreneur. Why entrepreneurs typically don't scale is because of loyalty issues. They're task-oriented, single-minded, and they're isolated. That's something that you definitely don't want to be as isolated. You want to have people to talk to. You want to have partners to work through the problems with, or people to talk to and share your ideas with. You don't want to be task-oriented and single-minded. These are the important things that you want to avoid to be able to scale properly. Startups need 2 to 3 times longer to validate their market than most founders expect. This underestimation creates the pressure to scale prematurely, which is the biggest form of failure in startups. So be patient and make sure that you validate before you scale or before you go to customer building. Premature scaling is the most common reason for startups to perform worse. They tend to lose the battle early on by getting ahead of themselves. So like I said before, don't scale prematurely. Make sure that you validate. Make sure you have a vision and you validate, and you're pivoting back and forth between the two before you scale at all. This wraps up everything for scalability, vision, validation, customer building, and company building. We'll see you next time.